Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. This is the big man Boisterous coming to you with some Team League Tenacity right out of high orbit. Down here in the south position, we have the team of Red, the Red Zerg, and that's convenient, and Lifecaliber, the Blue Zerg, as I accidentally have this game on 4 times speed. Whoops! Up here in the top right, we have Joker as the purple Terran, and his teammate Faye as the light blue Terran. And just as something interesting to note, I think I had a 2v2 with this guy. A 2v2 team with this guy, like 2 seasons ago. In, season 2. I'm pretty sure I had a 2v2 team with Joker. He's actually not that bad of a player. Oh well. We have Red as the Red Zerg. Again, extremely convenient. Going for what would appear to be a fast hatchery on this map, which is iffy. Especially in this position, because facing off against 2 Terrans, I mean, this is kind of a very bad spot for an expansion, because either they choke it off with fast tanks, which is, easy to do, or they just rush it with fast Marines, and the Marines get a lot of surface area on this hatchery, and it's very hard to defend because there's no real choke to put down any sort of like spine crawler defense, and there's no real awesome spot for you to kind of come around and flank with lings. It's a very sketchy place, and I think that really has to do with just the fact that a lot of the Blizzard 2v2 maps are kind of based on the really rushy play. But that's a story for a different time. We do have everybody going for just standard builds. We have a really fast reactor coming out of Joker, actually, so it looks like he's going to be going for some sort of really fast Hellion play, because he's mining off of 2 gases. I don't know what his plan is for that really fast reactor barracks, because he has a lot of gas, like a lot of gas. He might be going for really fast Alliance, but you really wouldn't need two refineries for that. I'm not quite sure what you would need 2 refineries for. Really fast medevacs, maybe? I really don't see that build a lot where they get, 2 super fast refineries like that, and then just go for a reactor barracks, which they aren't actually producing anything out of. Anyway, we have both of our Zerg players going for fairly standard builds. We have Red getting both his Queens out, dropping creep tumors in interesting places. I guess, yeah, that would, I think, link around on this ramp. So this does kind of make sense. I'm not quite sure why he did it on the first rotation that Queen popped out with. He's probably trying to link up his main and his, natural E expansion as fast as possible, but it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, because production is just so needed in 2v2 game, where they don't have a whole lot of scouting information. I don't think they've actually seen into their enemy spaces at all yet. He just poked the front and finally saw, the reactor barracks and this other barracks. So for what they know, there could be 12 Raxes just coming at them for funsies. And you really need the extra production of having a Queen just constantly spawning larvae on your own hatchery to deal with something like that. Other than that, we have Lifecaliber going for, yet again, another standard build. He's going for very fast upgrades, actually extremely fast upgrades. It's 6 minutes into the game, and he already has +1 melee. He's working on +1 armor, which is extremely effective against Marines, because you have a lot of Zerglings, so the +1 melee does a lot, and they have a lot of Marines, so the +1 armor does a lot. It's a very good upgrade to have when you're having these kind of like Ling Marine battles. Basically just upgrading Zerglings is an amazing route to go, because speedy Zerglings plus upgrades can really close on Marines and then just absolutely tear them to shreds unless the Marines have superior upgrades. And we do have these Zerglings just being annoying, popping down these back rocks, and if they actually manage to get these back rocks, that's a pretty bad situation for the Terran pieces. However, both of the Terrans are at siege tank level, so they are doing pretty reasonably as far as their tech goes. Nothing really majorly different coming out of any of them. We do have the Zerglings swinging over to this left side expansions to check if there's anything going up for the Terrans, but they're not going to find anything. I'm surprised they didn't just swing this Overlord around. I wonder why these Lings are specifically moving out here. I think that at this point the Terrans are really far behind, because both of the Zergs, I mean, the Zergs are getting their gold base up. One of the Zergs has had his hatchery up since the 5-minute mark, and it's been fully saturated for actually not that long. It's not even fully saturated right now, so that's a bit of a surprise. Lifecaliber, I think it's a bit early to say that, because neither of you have really, I don't think that you guys are at quite the economic advantage that you think you're at, because really Terran can keep up with a Zerg that's only mining minerals off his second base, just because of mules allowing you to overmine off of one base. It allows you to become very efficient with just one base. So basically, like, these 2 mules count as 6 SCVs a piece, essentially, for the duration that they're up. They're going to be doing a whole lot of mining for the player that throws them down. Now this is actually an extremely significant economic advantage, but they're pushing out with tanks. Most of the Zergling force has already been crushed by this tank push, and it looks like a lot of Zerglings are just going to go down here for free, with 2 going down, and the Zerglings try to dart in, but like 6 go in, 6 just die for no apparent reason. And this is, it's not the best situation for the Zerg players right now. This push, if executed properly, which is keeping your tanks spread out, so not quite like this, but if executed properly, this push will be devastating, and those banelings just running right into the tank lines, that's not gonna do a whole lot. Then Zerglings going for Hellions. This isn't the cleanest attack. This isn't the cleanest defense by the Zerg players. I mean, this hatchery is most certainly going to go down. I'm surprised that the Terran haven't swung around to try to take this one out. I wonder if they know that there's really no mining going on over here. I doubt they do. I don't think they've sent anything over there, but they really should go and send something over just to check that there's nothing going on here, because really this base is being useless for Red right now. I think he should have spent a lot more money earlier in the game when they weren't really being defensive, and just droned that up and gotten the macro hatch. Because if you're going for such heavy Zergling numbers, you can really get a really fast macro hatch as long as you have a second base, and then with that macro hatch you can just produce lings like a monster and really just pump them out, and you won't run into any of these nasty blocks where you just have too much money, because that's what he has right now. He has he had like 600 minerals just stockpiled, and you never want that when you're defending against the push. Looks like these lings are going to come out and finally clean up these Marines. But that was a pretty devastating push for our Zergs to have to deal with, because that was really the one hatchery that was actually that was their only expansion that was really mining at an impressive rate. I mean, even Red's main base isn't mining that well, or Blue's is also not mining all that well. He's around 6 drones down over at this base. I'm guessing they were lost due to transfers, or they're just long-range mining. But it's not. The Zerg players have lost a lot of ground right there. This command center, interestingly placed, it allows SCVs to short, long-range mine these minerals. I'm not quite sure how else to describe this other than short, long-range mine. It looks like the mutas are flying in, but they're going to meet their dooms pretty swiftly. I'm surprised they're not trying to pick off, just supply depots or whatever they can. Even the SCVs building the supply depots can be extremely annoying if they get picked off. And it looks like we already have pretty awesome missile turret coverage. See, this is actually useful missile turret coverage, because really none of these missile turrets overlap. So this guy isn't playing the campaign, he's just being good at putting down missile turrets. I think he should put like one here to really cover these last few production buildings, because I'm pretty sure mutas could come in and snipe off these. It looks like the rocks are down. If they can get banelings over there, lings aren't going to be enough. You need to get banelings in there with centrifugal hooks to just roll up the ramp and explode right into those Marines, because as soon as that happens, Terran is in an extremely bad position to try to deal with something like that. I mean, these Zerglings are going to do absolutely nothing. They're just going to sit there and die. A Marine ball like that will tear through lesser numbers of Zerglings. Because Marines are really good units. They're just awesome all-around units, and these Marines, even at 0-0, the mutas are no hope. The mutas have absolutely no hope against Marines. Marines will just tear mutas apart. However, it looks like they are going to go for sniping the engineering bay, which is a good choice, because sniping the engineering bay just stops your opponent from upgrading at all, so he won't be able to get those 2-2 upgrades for the Marines that make them just so good. We do have the Queen back on this gold minerals. I think that Lifecaliber needs to really be shooting for another base here. I understand that he's going for like this really heavy sort of Zergling play. It looks like he's actually going into Hydralisk, which is something that I do not agree with at all. Hydras are not worth it against Marines and tanks. Marines and tanks will completely tear Hydras apart. I mean, Hydras aren't really even worth it in this matchup at all. I mean, battle cruisers kill Hydras. You know, if Vikings kill Hydras, basically anything that the Terran can produce kills Hydralisks really well. I mean, the only thing that Hydras are kind of good against are Marauders, I would say, and even then they're mediocre at best. So they're just better than they are against anything else against Marauders, even though they're really not a straight up counter. And yeah, just Marines will tear Hydralisks apart. Hydralisks just don't really have a spot in this matchup currently, especially with how slow they are off creep. Basically, the only way to attack with a Hydralisk is to either drop them in and generate creep, or Night Swarm them in, bring some queens through and drop creep tumors, which is actually one of the funniest ways to win a game ever. Just spread creep inside of your enemy's base so that your Hydras can actually move. As this is happening, there's a push going on. Kill the golds. Nothing really that interesting though, because it's just Marines and tanks. You know, these spine crawlers are going to prevent motion at best. Well, not even prevent, just stall at best. And it looks like the mutas are swinging around to take out these tanks, and that's actually a really bad situation for our Terran players. They needed a much bigger Marine ball, and this is not how you rally into a battle. Has Day 9 taught you nothing? You have them all clump up in one giant group, and then you move them into the battleground. You do not Congo line your Marines in. It's an awful idea. We do have the golds going up yet again, because again, the gold is an amazing thing, and he hasn't, I mean, most of these mineral patches are still at least at 1,000. There's only one that's actually below 1,000, it's at 982, so those are still amazingly valuable. I'm actually, whoa, that was a lot of mules getting thrown down right there. Looks like 6 mules getting thrown down. So this is a really saturated base. These mineral fields are just going to start disappearing, but the mutas do roll in, and this is going to be a lot of damage for the mutas to do to this mineral line. It's basically just going to be like these mutas just won the lottery for how many SCVs they're about to get to kill. They might have to deal with a few Marines, but then after that it's just going to be straight delicious SCV kills. And it looks like Joker has left the game. You know, muta harass is a pretty good thing. Anyway guys, this has been yet another game brought to you by Boisterous. You guys can check out any of my other games you haven't seen over at youtube.com/user/boisteroussc2. Also, you can send in any games that you want to be commentated into boisteroussc2@gmail.com. I'm still looking for any and all submissions, excuse me, especially those from you guys in Silver League. They're actually the only league that I haven't casted yet, and it's kind of starting to get me depressed. So Silver Leaguers, get out there, send me your games. I really would enjoy to cast them for you. Anyway guys, this is have a good Thanksgiving, because Thanksgiving is tomorrow, and if you're not in the US, have a good Thursday. You're only a day away from Friday. Yeah, this is Boisterous signing out.